Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome along this morning. Thank you for turning out. Not quite as cold as perhaps many of us would have suspected, but it's great to have you along for this morning's CIT Solutions Breakfast as we look at coaching the culture in the workplace. My name's Dave Honke. I'm the Senior Manager for Business Development and Communications at CIT Solutions, and on behalf of the CIT Solutions team and General Manager Paul Ryan down the front, thank you very much for attending this morning as we take a close look at how we can improve areas of your organisation. Just a couple of quick housekeeping duties. The bathrooms are up the front here this morning, so up behind the signs at the front of the room. And we are aiming to have you out of here by 8:15 at the latest, so we'll be taking questions around 8 o'clock, so that should give you a bit of a tip in your mind as to how you're positioning yourself for time and getting back to the office this morning. Just a quick reminder, we'll be talking with a couple of guest speakers this morning, of course, with Natalie Ashdown, and also we'll be hearing from Gary Chalker from the ACCC, and giving you a real insight into what coaching is about and how you can look at implementing it in your workplace. And we'll also be taking some questions and answers, a bit of a Q&A session later on in the morning as well. So if you have some questions, just hold on to them and we can ensure that we get to you as well. At the back, as you came in, there's a bowl there for a business card drawer. You can place your business cards in there, and Natalie will be giving away one of her books this morning. So bringing out your best, inspiring a coaching culture in your workplace. So that's something that you might want to take advantage of there as well. And we also have an early bird discount too, so we'll get to that towards the end of the presentation for you. Now, just a bit of a reminder about CIT Solutions. We are the commercial arm of the Canberra Institute of Technology, providing government and also private sector clients with a wide range of learning and development services to enhance the capability of staff within Australia and also offshore. We also provide individuals with a wide range of services and abilities and courses to upgrade their professional skills and access to the largest selection of adult community education programs here in the ACT. Each year, we deliver more than 400,000 hours of accredited training and graduate more than 1,500 students in quite a wide range of certificates, diplomas, advanced diplomas and vocational graduate certificate qualifications, covering a wide range of specialties, including government, management, financial services, financial management, procurement, contracting, strategic procurement, project management, policy development, human resources, community capacity, security, fraud, control, investigation, statutory compliance, workplace inspection, and now we can add coaching to that list. Let's hear from our guest speaker this morning, Natalie Ashdown. Natalie is a champion of implementing coaching culture within organisations with a vision for Australian organisations, being that coaching becomes the way we do things around here. Natalie has been inspiring audiences with her messages at Australian and international events. She's an accomplished author. As a coach and leader within the Australian coaching community, Natalie currently coaches and delivers coach training to executives, senior management and teams from Australia's leading corporations, along with a number of private business clients as well. She's developed and written innovative coaching programs delivered by Open Door Coaching, and were the first programs in Australia to achieve government accreditation and accreditation by the International Coach Federation. Her first book, Bring Out the Best, you can win it at the back, is a leading guide to corporate coaching containing inspirational Australian coaching and business stories. Natalie holds a Bachelor of Business in Marketing from RMIT and a Masters of Business Administration with the University of Melbourne. She holds a Diploma of Workplace and Business Coaching, Certificate 4 in Assessment and Workplace Training, a Master Practitioner in Neuro-Linguistic Programming, Master Coaching and Master of Ericksonian Hypnosis, thus qualifying her to be a fully accredited Master Coach and Trainer. Natalie has held leadership positions in the coaching community with the International Coach Federation and holds PCC credentials. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Ashdown.
Well, good morning everybody. I think with my bio, probably the only thing that I don't need this morning is the Master of Ericksonian Hypnosis. I think the last thing you all need today and this morning at breakfast is to be hypnotised. But if anyone wants to see some party tricks after my talk, I'm sure I can do that for you. So, thank you so much, David. It's a pleasure to be with you here this morning. I feel like just taking the microphone off and going for a bit of a stroll, so I might do that actually, as long as I don't rip into any sort of singing or anything like that. Just, get the microphone in your hands. So. This morning, I'd like to talk to you about how you can actually move an organisation's culture by just asking one great coaching question at a time. And it's really interesting because with all the coaching I've done, there's models and there's frameworks, and we have a fantastic methodology that we use. But you know, ultimately, it gets down to us as leaders and as managers and as people who want to inspire workplace culture, just to ask one great coaching question at a time. And what we've seen in the research that I've done for my book and with the organisations that we've worked with is that this is really possible, one great coaching question at a time. So that's what we'll be talking about today, and then it's a pleasure to welcome a dear colleague, Gary Chalker, to come up and talk to you about his experience with introducing coaching into the workplace as well. So how do we, what are we actually talking about this morning? So when we talk about culture, and coaching culture, you know, all those things we actually talk about from a coaching point of view. So we talk about effective questions, we talk about feedback, we talk about listening, we talk about in coaching staying out of space. So rather than jumping in and solving everybody's problems, as leaders we're going to start asking great questions. And what that does then is actually helps people engage and start to think about their own answers to their own questions. Now, what we're finding is as more and more leaders start to inspire this sort of approach in the workplace, then it becomes a culture. And culture, as you know, is just the way we do things around here. So any team can have a culture. We can have great cultures, inspirational cultures, but we can also have some really, let's face it, some rotten cultures as well. So what we're talking about from a coaching culture is that this is what we do around here, asking great questions, actually helping people have the lights go on, think and engage is actually the way we do things around here. Now, what that means is, in the workplace, there's a framework that we've designed for actually implementing it. This is on your table for those of you that would like a copy. This is what we call the coaching cultural framework, and this is best practice in terms of what does it look like when an organisation actually introduces coaching into the organisation. You know, best practice says, and you will know this, best practice says with any initiative we need to introduce it from the leaders and bring it down through the organisation. So coaching in an organisation has to start with the leadership values. It has to start with an initiative. Best practice, for example, in organisations like ADP Employer Services, when Centrelink introduced, before they did all those changes, when Centrelink introduced coaching into the workplace, when Sun Super, one of our largest superannuation companies in Queensland, when they introduced coaching, they brought it down from the leaders to values first. Then the best practice will say that coaching is introduced into the organisational strategy of the organisation. So there's some form of strategy within the organisation that's actually encouraging coaching. The next thing is that there'll be a department where in an organisation where a department is actually keen to introduce coaching. So if we can bring it through the strategy into each department, then we've got some real traction in terms of bringing coaching through. Now, where do we start in terms of departments? It's really interesting. There's two ways to go. We can either go with the department that's feeling the most pain. So they're the department that we need to really turn around because they've got all the problems going on. Or we start with a department that could be a champion department, where they're already inspiring, they're already doing great work with their teams, and they want to take their teams to the next level. So these are the sort of things we can think about. Organisational artefacts. These are when you know that coaching is starting to be introduced into an organisation, when things like performance reviews, induction plans, all of these we call them organisational artefacts, start to reflect coaching. And there's a number of organisations that we've worked with, Department of Defence, I know there's a couple of people here, up in North Queensland. Great place to go and really, at this time of year, we should all pop up to Department of Defence in Queensland and see what they're doing up there. Because they're introducing coaching through, the introduction of coaching through their leadership programs. And they're actually doing it internally as well. So they're building the internal capability of the people within their organisation to coach, which is the most important thing. Then you see individuals and teams coaching. Now this looks, and of course you've got your action, your feedback, you've got your feedback, your action plans, all those sort of things come through. Now I was in a presentation recently and someone said to me, you know, this approach, it's this framework, and you know, the person was sort of a grumpy old person with a bit of a cardigan on, and they said, oh, this approach is quite a, actually you need your cardigans today, so don't worry about that comment. They said that this approach is very top-down, and it wouldn't work in our organisation because our leaders, or our senior leaders, don't get it. They don't understand coaching. So this framework's out the door, part of the pun. And I said, actually, no, there's more that we can do. And they said, the top-down approach doesn't work anymore. And I said, well, why don't we go like this? And so I said, if we simply turn the framework upside down, all we need to think about as leaders is the individuals and teams that we work with. And how can we ask one great coaching question at a time with individuals and teams that we work with? And you know the revolving door. We'll get back to the workplace and you'll sit down in your office or at your desk. And how many people do you think will come through your door in the first half hour of your workplace, of your work time? So with that revolving door that comes, we have HR managers and leaders where they spend all their time solving problems and fixing problems. And the worst thing is they take it all on as well. So we're looking at asking one great coaching question at a time that'll actually help these people start to think for themselves, move along themselves, solve their own problems, be accountable, be responsible, these sort of things. And it doesn't matter where you start with this map. You know, it doesn't matter where you start. If you're in L&D or in HR, you can start by introducing coaching into performance reviews or induction programs or whatever it might be.